Littleton. This is May 14th, and this is the Board of Health meeting. Welcome. We have Dan Kane, Kevin Baker, Kevin Davis, myself as the board members, and we have Francis and Megan from the Board of Health in town. All right. So let's take a look and see what we've got going on our agenda. It looks like, where'd my agenda go? Perfect. It's missing. Looks like we have the discussion about basements and additions starting at 7 o'clock. Okay, let's go.
So where we last left the conversation with Chair Wason requesting everybody give some thought into what kind of rules they want to have for basements, whether they're existing and going to be finished or they're going to be under a new construction. Same policy as the bedroom count, just filtered out a little more and be more precise. There was talk about having either a square footage over an excess amount count as 2 rooms, or perhaps having elements of a basement maybe count where it needs to go before the board or not, or where they can get a deed restriction. So it's all up in the air right now what the board would like to do.
All right. Kevin Baker, we haven't been around for a little bit. Would you like to comment on said basement items?
Sure. I think the local regulation proposed covers all the bases that we've spoken about, and I think the 400 square feet is a good number. And I also like section D with if there's an accessible exterior egress is included in the modification, dividing a basement into more than 2 spaces and includes a bathroom, but will be considered as adding a bedroom. I think that is important for the future.
Yeah. Okay. Dan?
I think it covers what we've discussed. I would love to see Matt and Gino here as well for their input, but I think we're in a good place to be able to put this out as a public hearing and get the community engaged. Right now, this is still the discussion. There's no actionable items at this point other than discussion. But I mean, I would say we're ready to put it out and get the public's opinion and continue drafting it, but get close to being in place.
Yeah. Okay. As far as basements go, I'm really still against the walkout egress, making it add another bedroom to it if it has those other pieces there. Been pretty consistent about that through the whole thing. So I'll let it go forward to see what the public comments are on that. But I think in the end, I am really pretty dead set against that.
So do you want to do like a combination if you have 2 out of 3 elements type of thing? Or do you not like the egress itself?
I don't like the egress itself. I think what you're doing is you're putting a tax on people that happen to have a walkout basement that want to finish their basement.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way I look at it.
So I can redline that for the next hearing.
But I don't mind about the square footage. I have no problems with that. Accessory dwelling units, I think, is fine. The other thing that I would like to do is to also have it reviewed by town council to see if she thinks it's defensible.
I already made the note. Yeah.
Okay.
So whatever product we have as a draft, I'll send to her to save a little money there.
Perfect. Does anybody else have any go backs? Let's see if we have anybody in the room. I see nobody in the room, so unless anybody else has anything, we still have 4 minutes until we get up. Yes, Kevin.
Comment. I'm wondering how this will work with the accessory dwelling bylaw, and if there's something we need to make sure of in the language so that things aren't contradictory.
So right now, we just tried to state a Title V. I think that'll be part of legal counsel to kind of review, make sure we're not stepping on that. But essentially, this should line up based on what DEP has explained to me in a meeting and others in other communities. What's in this document right now should line up with what they agree with as well, in theory.
Okay. Is the model language that we have in there in section 3 for the ADUs the model language that was given by the DEP?
But it's guidance.
Okay. Okay.
So it lines up enough where I don't think it'll be an issue. But again, because towns can kind of change the ADUs as well through the planning departments. So we're going to make sure that we line up locally because it's a little different, I think, locally than the state prescribed. So we'll have planning look at it as well, and also zoning board too as well.
Okay. Kevin, that does assuage your concerns. Perfect. Okay. Still have 3 minutes. Okay. If anybody else has any other comments, we can close that and maybe do some administrative pieces. I didn't receive any other administrative matters. Or correspondence, so that's done. Did anybody else receive any correspondence? Kevin, Dan? Okay. We do have meeting minute approval. Let's see if we can actually vote on it. I don't think we can. We cannot. So we're going to have to push the meeting minute approval from April 23rd to our next meeting because we don't have enough of a quorum to vote. Because Mr. Baker will have to vote in the abstention. Okay. All right. Then we're almost at 7:10. Waiting for my clock to switch to 7:10 that we can do the ID to subordinate decision support tool. And the chairperson, as usually, does the ID decision support tool. So I haven't seen him do the update yet. Does anybody want to share information about RSV or the flu? I think we're out of those seasons. Yes.
So I can pull up the most up-to-date ID tool to just look at if you want as a visual.
That'd be great. Yeah, that'd be a good thing to pull up.
Okay.
We can share it. So cool.
Okay. Can everybody see that?
Might want to zoom in a little bit to that area if possible. Beautiful. Much better. COVID-19, I don't think there is a new variant that is the dominant strain. I think we're still at the XEC strain. Up-to-date vaccinations, yeah, we're still down really low on the vaccination rate within town. I have not heard if there is a meeting coming up to do the decision on the new COVID-19 variant for the booster shot in the fall. I haven't heard about that yet. So that's it. Wastewater update. I have not looked at what the wastewater looks like at MWRA. Has anybody looked at that?
It's low. It looks like it's. Let me get the data point. It's the lowest it's been since October 1st, 2024. So it's down and it's trended down. So we're at the bottom of a tree of a trough right now.
Of a trough. That's great. Okay, so we can scroll down. Influenza. Yes, sir.
I apologize to interrupt. It looks like Gino is in the audience.
Let's promote him. Thank you, Dan. Somebody promoting Gino for us? There we go. Gino, are you there?
Gino is muted, no video.
I'm sure he's gonna have to press.
There he is.
Gino, do we have you?
He's unmuted.
Okay. Let's keep going. Influenza. I believe we are nearing the end of the reporting period for influenza. And I'm sure our vaccination rate hasn't gotten any higher since the last time we checked at that. So that's where that is. RSV, I think we are out of the reporting area for RSV as well. And then arbovirus is going to be starting up here. That's coming up in about another 2 weeks or so, and that's going to start up. Those are our mosquito-borne West Nile and Triple E. And last year we did have a Triple E kind of outbreak in the fall, so I'm anticipating that to happen in the area again once it's kind of in an area the disease well exists. So I'm anticipating that to happen again. So the mosquitoes are out, just in case anybody hasn't already seen them. My daughter did happen to go outside the other night and came back with a couple of welts of her own. So everybody, please make sure we are putting on the appropriate bug spray and all that kind of good stuff. Does anybody have any other updates that they would like to give? No. Okay. Gino, my friend, can you hear us?
So just for the arbovirus, we made a web page last year giving updates along the way as things progressed, and also kind of informational data for people to better understand what mosquito-borne illness is. So this year we'll do something very similar. We'll probably promote something through a flash news announcement saying, hey, please keep up to date with our website to get news and information from Littleton.
That'll be a good thing to do. Have we done any reached out or coordination with the other surrounding towns? Maybe a little early to go and ask, but it may never be too early to go and ask and say, hey, what are you guys doing for West Nile and Triple E?
Typically, everybody does the same thing around us, surrounded, because we all have the same mosquito control company. So it's kind of a uniform strategy and same type of procedures and spraying and all that. So
Right.
we do meet, like last year we met when we started getting cases as a big group. So there's, I think, about 6 towns that met together to talk about what we're going to do and what the messages should be going out in terms of public information, in terms of what safety precautions towns are going to be taking in comparison to others and based on threats. So that's kind of how we did it last year, and I assume it'll probably be the same this year. I think it was at beginning of July last year where Triple E started becoming an issue where we had to start getting the information out. So I think we'll be better prepared this time. I think we took pretty quick steps last time. Within 2 days, I believe, we were out spraying. So that is the best mediation that we can do on our part.
Yeah, I think that last year, one of the other lessons learned last year was make sure the communication was going on. Some people were caught by surprise as to what was happening. So I think this year we want to make sure that we're correcting that misstep.
Yeah, I mean, so there's 2 portions of that. It's also reaching a large part of the population that doesn't really going to receive a news flash. They might not have phones. They might not have access to internet. They might not readily see something like that. So It's a tough case when, let's say, you get a triple E case in town and you want to take immediate actions. So you try to do the best you can, but that could be same day if they said they can react same day. Do you wait, or
Right.
do you, you know?
Damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah.
Is the town still use Code Red or whatever it was that was the central way of getting information out to people? Is that still being done with the Littleton Water and Electric Company, or did they shift to a new app?
They ship to a different way of communicating, but last year what we did talk about after things calmed down is we didn't use Code Red for notifications because it was explained to us that that was more for an emergency where, let's say, your house is on fire, or there's something significant that is immediate, and that this did not qualify under that. So I guess a good topic for June would be to discuss the use of a 911 reverse when it's required, some form of vote of seeing when it is necessary according to the Board of Health to bring to town administration.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd like to understand the policy around that and who set the level and what the levels are, because that seemed pretty arbitrary to me about, it wasn't, there needs to be what the definition is, because I thought the Code Red app wasn't a reverse 911. It was something that you could sign up for and you would get a burst of information out. So it was like an app information from the town. So I don't know if we do that anymore.
We do, but very rarely.
Yes, Dan.
A lot of our notifications are different levels within Civic Plus through the website, basically, at this point. And it's kind of tiered. So it's something I can prepare some kind of write-up we can look at in June and discuss it more.
Yes, Dan.
I thought I know we've gotten plenty of times in the past. I thought I got one recently for every time they spray any of the playing fields here in town.
Mm-hmm. So you might have got one through
So-
the Parks and Rec, like emergency alert type of thing.
I mean, but I've gotten the phone call with as part of required notification to the public, such and such a date, field's going to be sprayed and advised no use on the fields for those times. So I guess I'm just trying to figure out if that's still happening, or if it just, my memory is slow and it's been longer than I can think of. But if that's still being utilized, because it's obviously a municipal event that's going out to everyone, or at least many, is there a way we can utilize that same system for notifications? If it's not everybody in town, but it's 75%, that is 75% more than we have if we don't do anything. So I guess I'm just wondering, understand the levels of reverse 911, but if it's being used because they're spraying the fields with pesticides, that it would seem like something that we should be able to utilize for other sprays and stuff.
Absolutely.
Kevin.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Mr. Kane, I do believe they still make those calls when they're spraying the fields, just as a notification and informational, for residents. And I think that the problem that we're having surrounding the use of an informational system is that we're calling it a reverse 911. And I think that if we just use the informational, tool that the town uses to get the word out in a non-911 situation, but just so everybody knows, I think we'll be more successful utilizing just the notification system as opposed to a reverse 911.
Yeah, I agree with that. There are, and I understand where Francis is coming from. There are levels to the reverse 911, and I get that. And they're like I was saying, there was a Code Red app that people could sign up for at Littleton Water and Electric at one point, and I think that's what we're all talking about. Is that there's some informational service that the town used to have that I don't know if we have.
It's just it's a call from the 2500 number.
Yeah.
486-2500 just comes out.
Yeah.
It's from the town, whether it's
right.
from
School
Parks and
board
Rec or
Parks
school
and Rec,
board
school,
or
yeah.
Board of Health or whoever it is. That's what I was referring to.
I'll
Yeah,
get some more clarity on everything for June, just so we can better understand how the system works. Yeah.
Cool. Love it. Okay. We are now at 7:21. And we are to the point of administrative matters. Francis.
So right now I'm working on a 15-town comparative for a fee structure. As you probably know from the last meeting, Chair Wason mentioned that he met with town administration and town council about fees. And there were some questions. So just in anticipation of that and seeing that, we did a comparison and we'll have that ready for the next meeting at the end of this month of what the fees are across 15 comparative towns. They're very similar to Littleton in a lot of ways. You'll see what their fees are. I'll make a recommended fee. We can look at the fee that we currently have, and we'll also, I think, put in the mix Neshoba's fees just to have a better comparative as well. So the board can look at that and make a decision. We do need to have something finalized by mid-June. So within the next 2 meetings, we'll need to be able to nail that down completely.
And then maybe also within the fees, if we could make sure that we have the backing stop of the regulations, like say, is regulation present or not present?
Yep.
And then, so that way we know where there's other work. I understand setting the fees is one thing, but then we can also work to make sure we have the regulations there.
Yes. For the most part, we're okay on that. But
Beautiful.
yes, everything will be able to be backed up by some kind of general law or regulation.
Perfect. Beautiful. Anybody have any comments on that? Yes, Dan.
You're muted,
You're
Dan.
muted.
I
So-
realized it as I said it. We have a hand up in the audience. Carolyn from the audience has a hand up.
Carolyn. Carolyn, you are muted. There
Can
we
you hear me
go.
now?
Yeah,
Mhm.
Carolyn, if you want to state your name and your address.
Yes, it's Carolyn Mueller, 8 East Roxbury Drive. And this is kind of off your agenda, but I'm here with Gino.
Hi,
He was
Gino.
Yeah,
You speak about my behavior because I can't get in.
Francis, I'm sorry, but we're using the permit computer down in the office. Gino thought someone was going to be here to help him. So he can hear you and he can see the captions, but he can't talk to you.
Okay.
Do you know how to navigate him to like a dial-in? Maybe we could just get him on the phone on a speaker instead of video.
Well, that's what I was. Gino, do you have your cell phone? I'm going to try to get him through his cell phone.
Okay.
Sorry to interrupt everybody. So I'm glad I did that, but sorry.
I'm glad you did that too. Thank you.
I'm sorry that I caused a lot of trouble.
It's okay, Gino.
Oh,
Totally fine.
Why don't you just use my cell phone?
use that.
Use that, and then when you're done, bring it to me in the other room.
All right.
Okay. Is that okay, guys?
Yeah,
Can you hear me?
we can hear you, Gino.
Oh, thank you. I'm using the young lady's phone. She's gonna help me. I went
Perfect.
to three different individuals. The lady's supposed to be here and wait for me because she always helped me out. But nobody's here at the office. So I'm in the office with a lady that was kind enough to help me out.
Is that?
Oh, that's okay.
Is getting an echo?
We are getting a little echo. It means that there's two microphones, like a speaker somewhere.
You
and
gotta
then
turn
when
off
you
your
talk-
speaker.
Yeah, I gotta try to turn.
Okay. Gina, we'll circle back to you real quick. Francis, do you have anything else?
So they have decided that they're gonna, is there any way to mute Gino?
Yeah, I'm trying.
You got it. The town has given us $15,000 in professional services for FY '26 to help with capacity. So we're going to have to try to utilize that best we can. I think it's enough to be able to sustain for the next year, but I would be a little worried about FY27.
Okay.
With 550 King coming online, I think there's just going to be a lot of increased work. There's going to be an increased.
Can you hear me now?
communication.
We can hear you, Gino.
All right.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, it's really low, but he's got the captions on the TV, so he should be able to see what you're saying and go along with it.
Perfect.
All right.
Okay.
Perfect.
I have to go to someplace to fix my computer because I couldn't get in the computer. And then the lady gave me here.
Yeah, so anything they say, they're gonna be able to hear, so I
Yeah.
want to wait till they're finished. and then-
Okay.
Okay, Francis. So with 550 King coming online, you have a concern about all the
You
work
coming
that's
back,
going to be.
honey?
I'm
Okay,
a little
okay.
worried about FY27 more. I think we'll be
I'll wait.
okay. It's going to be a lot of running around, but I think it's doable.
Anyway,
Do you have the use of a town vehicle so you can do the running around?
I can. I prefer not to use the town vehicle
Okay.
for a lot of reasons. That's fine. I'm
Okay.
just worried about staffing in FY27 because once you get sucked into all these construction meetings, new businesses asking about how they can move in, what's necessary, going to visit the sites probably a lot, and just the minutia of it all, I think is going to be a big time suck as time goes on.
Okay.
And
When
then
is
everything else? Yeah.
550 King Street supposed to be finished up? Is that 29? Is that what I read?
Maybe. I'm not sure, to be honest. I think fall's going to be when it starts to get a little bit busier, and
Okay.
spring, I think, will explode a little bit.
Okay.
There'll be a lot of inquiry.
So FY26 for spring, and then through the summer construction, and then something in the fall of 26. So the shoulder of end of 26, beginning of 27.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think we really need to fight next year very hard to have some kind of at least part-time type of staff on.
Okay. Alrighty. Make sure we add that to our thing of things to do.
We had second interviews for the nursing position yesterday, actually, in Acton. There were two very strong candidates for the second interviews, and there's some paperwork and some additional meeting with the town administration, but I believe that we'll have a candidate, and that person will be in place for July 1st.
Okay.
In terms of Maven access, which can be critical, I've talked to Acton. They're going to help us with that, because the thing about Maven is once you start, it takes probably a good month to a month and a half, depending on how busy they are, to actually activate a new account.
Okay.
So I have access to Maven, so I'll be monitoring it and diverting it to the nurse when needed. But we also have Acton as a backup as well, if need be.
Perfect. Perfect. Okay.
Lower on the totem pole, we have the emergency preparedness plan is almost complete. So that should be done probably in the next month. We brought TPH out to the middle school and walked through, because that's where our emergency plan is based. We did open up new spaces, and our main area is going to be the gym now, instead of before it was 2 classrooms. But the gym has enough power, and we believe we can get emergency power to it where it will work, and it makes more sense for the space. So DPH is working to write that up with us right now. We're also working with our CERT team. Alex McCurdy is leading on their part to help us with that as well.
Do you believe the board needs a review?
When it comes to the plan, it's more about making sure DPH has their 100-page long checklist of how things are written in a certain way. I think it might be worthwhile just to look at the plan and see what the layout is for that space, just so the board has a better idea. But I mean, if you looked at during COVID, these plans were essentially built for a situation like COVID, for mass vaccinations. And we saw what that brought. So sadly, these days, it seems like it's a wasteful measure, but we're still required to do it.
Dan, you had your hand raised.
Yeah, just wanted to clarify. So the emergency preparedness plan there for the middle school, it really is not, it's not the townwide emergency plan. It's a shelter and distribution site plan. It is not EOC or those kind of things. Okay.
We kind of have a resident expert if you want some advice. Okay. Anything else?
Nope, we're just plugging along to July 1st. Still meeting with Jim twice a week, just kind of talk about things as they come up. In terms of file retention, so we've been making a good dent in the Neshoba's basement of files. So we will be retaining them. We are about halfway uploaded with digitals. So by probably fall, we'll be able to have all paper and digital. So you won't necessarily have to go look stuff up in paper. We'll be able to more readily access it wherever. We're uploading that to OpenGov as well. So the ultimate plan is that any homeowner will be able to access basically a jacket for their file on their home online without having to come in the office. So that'd be significant. We're much farther ahead than building or any other department in being able to do that. So within the fall, I think it'll save people a lot of time and a lot of headache because we get many, many calls about people looking for all types of records. Yeah.
Title V and whatever else.
Yeah.
When was my last inspection? Question.
Yeah.
Do people ask if they get their septic pump? Do they ask if they could add a record to their jacket? Or is that something that generally isn't done?
So if they get their septic pumped, the company is required, or they're supposed to, send us the pumping slip detailing when it was done, how much, and we add that to their jacket. This does not always
Can
get
you
done.
hear me, friends?
I can
We can
hear you,
hear you.
Gino.
Can you hear me, friends?
We can
I
hear
can
you,
hear you.
Gino.
Kevin, Davis, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Gino.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. I miss you guys. I'm so sorry that this happened. I can't believe
It's
it.
okay. It's quite
I
all
gotta
right,
get
Gino.
my computer fixed again. And then the young lady is supposed to stay here until the meeting is over. And then I want to make sure they give me the BOH agenda, but something that I can read the numbers.
Got it.
Everything used to be fine before. I wish we
You
can
know-
meet in person, especially in the summer. In the winter, I can see that we can go in TV. But anyway, I hope everything goes well next time. I hope you people understand it's not my fault. I try. I mean, I was asked to be in 3 different. They called me, Gino, would you like to come for dinner tonight? I said, no, I got to go to a meeting. I went to a meeting at the church, and I came here 10 minutes before 7. And I thought I can be able to have the lady here. It was all dark. The lady came and she took me to the, she come here, she saw it's dark, and then she put the lights on, and then she put the TV on. So I feel bad. I really feel bad.
I'm so sorry that it's happened, Gino. But it's okay. We got you here.
Gino, you want to come in or give me a call?
While
We
I'm
can
here,
try to figure it out.
and you're not going to beat me up,
Gino.
I wanted
it's
to
okay.
let you know, my friend, the president, he called me friends. I pick you as a MAGA ambassador to represent your state. I'm conducting the largest
Hey, Gino, let's focus on the meeting. Okay?
presidential study.
Hey, Gino, let's focus on the
So-
meeting, okay?
So I am an ambassador for the presidente. So I have in charge all Massachusetts. Would you dare believe it? He trusts me with all Massachusetts. So if anybody is a Republican, Democrat, I still love you and no matter what. Okay? If you need some help, I can take you to the TV. They call it Gino TV. And it's my show. I have a show in Acton and in Westford. One gentleman that is running for governor is a Republican,
Hey,
and he already got in
Gino,
touch with me
Gino,
because
Gino,
he
buddy.
find out that I am an
Gino.
ambassador from the Presidente. Said, can you help me, Gino? I won't
Gino,
help,
can
but
you
the
hear
question
us?
is, he forgot to put his telephone number.
Gino, can you
I
hear
don't
us?
have no address to get in touch with this gentleman. So you think you got a problem with me? He's got a problem with me because he's supposed to at least put his address.
Gino.
That's
Hey,
it. Okay.
thanks, bud.
That's it. You call it off?
We need to keep going on our agenda.
We're going to do it tomorrow?
We need to go on
Oh, that'd
with
be
our
nice.
agenda.
Oh,
Francis, do we have anything else on our agenda?
thank you.
that you'd
Thank
like
you
to bring?
to do it tomorrow. I appreciate it.
I didn't say that we do it tomorrow.
Well, anyway, at least you know that I'm an ambassador.
Thank you for letting us know. I appreciate that. Francis, what else do we have?
That's all the excitement there is.
Excellent. All right, we are at
Mr. Chair,
Kevin's got a question.
yes, Kevin, what's up?
may I make a motion to adjourn?
I have a motion on the table to adjourn. Do I have a second? I need a second if we want to have to consider the motion. Hearing no second. I'm sorry, the motion doesn't impact.
Withdraw.
Okay. It's okay. Dan, do you have anything else you'd like to check?
I just want to double check, see if Francis needs anything else for transition process. As we're coming down to our last few weeks, is there anything we can do as a board to help you prepare so that we are ready to hit the ground running? I know you've been working hard trying to get ready for it. Just, is there anything you can need from us to help support you in the home stretch?
Just to keep in mind that July to probably end of August, mid-September, I'm going to be pretty much underwater completely the whole time. So if something comes up, please don't hesitate to bug me about it. I apologize if I don't get back to you right away or something like that, but I'm just going to try to maintain. We're working on how to figure out the capacity thing right now. So I might call on the board in an email. So just try to keep up your emails if you could, in case I have a quick thing to bounce off the board. Otherwise, thank you for the support.
Okay. In regards to email, how often do you think we should be checking the town email that we have?
Every 2 weeks, I would say, is probably a good bet.
So every two. So would you like it a couple of times a week would be better?
As often as you can, Kevin.
Got it. All right. Yes, Dan.
It wasn't on our agenda for this evening. One, I'd like to take a moment to congratulate Matt and Kevin for being reelected to the board. Great job. We
Thank you.
appreciate your service. We're glad you're still with us. Hopefully Matt will see this someplace. Usually we do reorganization. It's not on the agenda, and we're missing Matt tonight. So just if we can just try to make sure we have the board reorg
So
on the next agenda.
I was going to say, let's go ahead and put the reorg on the next agenda. Yes, Dan.
That was all I had.
That's it? Okay. Does anybody else have anything they'd like to discuss? Mr. Baker,
To make a motion to adjourn.
do I hear a second?
Second,
I have a motion and a second on the floor to adjourn. I'll take a roll call vote. Dan Kane,
Dan Kane votes yes.
Kevin Baker,
Kevin Baker votes yes.
Gino Fratelloni,
He's muted.
Gino Fratelloni. All right, we're gonna have that as an abstention, and Kevin Davis, the chair votes yes. Gino. Okay. Kevin Davis votes yes. I hereby have the motion passed. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everybody. This concludes our
Thanks,
meeting.
everybody.